Secure the Hellgas beacon. Make sure our beacon is defended.
What's going on, guys? This is the Brigade once again, and we're back at it with another session of Killzone Shadow Fall. Alright, guys, this will probably be my last video for this particular game, probably for a couple weeks. Right, and the reason why I say that is I don't know if you guys are familiar with some of my opening Killzone Shadow Fall videos, but in the event that you are not, when I started to upload videos for this game, I stated what my overall goal was, and it was basically to create a series of videos with commentary directed at newer players, right? Maybe those who maybe played the Killzone games in the past but only stuck with, you know, single players, and all of a sudden they want to experiment with the multiplayer, or for those who, you know, seeing that the PS4s were new and this is the one of the shooters offered for the game at the time that it was released. I figured I would go ahead and you know, put forth some commentaries for those who may be new to the franchise, right? Because this game is definitely different from Call of Duty, and it's also different from Battlefield. So I figured to myself, I said, you know what, it's probably some guys that you know, maybe new to the game, they may not understand it, so perhaps I'll just go ahead and upload a few videos talking about it. And like I've said before, Killzone has always been, actually I can't even say always been, I'll say at least since Killzone 2 has been one of my favorite first-person shooter franchises. As a matter of fact, I've never really played a lot of first-person shooters. My very first-person shooter was actually Killzone 2. After Killzone 2, I played Battlefield Bad Company 2, then it was Killzone 3, and now it's Killzone Shadow Fall. Now, I dabbled a little bit with Call of Duty. I played betas for Battlefields 3 and 4. Didn't really like those, right? Which is why I never really dedicated that much time into it. For whatever reason, I've pretty much always been Killzone fans, right? Pretty much always been a Killzone fan after I was introduced to it back with Killzone 2. So, like I said before, this will probably be one of my last videos for this game, at least until the new maps come. Now, once the new maps are released, I'll go ahead, come back, showcase a few maps, add on a few commentaries. As a matter of fact, some of those commentaries might be live. I know I kind of talked about that in a couple of my opening videos, and I have yet to do it. You know, doing post commentaries, you know, I'm a lot more calm. You know, I'm just basically ranting over a lot of various things. And, you know, I've been doing post commentaries for so long, it just seems so comfortable for me. But I think perhaps when those new maps come, I might do a few live commentaries, you know, not only for you guys, but also, I mean, just to see for myself, you know, because they might be a little more exciting. Seeing that at the time that I'm playing the game, I got certain thoughts going on, got certain emotions going on, and it's probably good to go ahead and articulate those thoughts and emotions while I'm going through those experiences, as opposed to, you know, being removed from the situation, sitting back. I'm cool, calm, and collected, and I'm basically just doing a post commentary. So we'll see. Those new maps are slated to hit the consoles, I think, within the next 2 weeks. I think they said March, maybe end of February, but definitely sometime in the beginning of March. Right, so I'll be back with the Killzone Shadow Fall videos once the new maps are released. Now, granted, we did get a new patch, and that patch, for whatever reason, like, I don't know if it just made templates for the new maps, but, you know, the space is there. You know, the new maps are just grayed out. So I guess they're just waiting for a release date sometime out in March. But whenever they decide to open, you know, to make available those maps, I'll go ahead and return to the uploads. Now, just because I will not be uploading Killzone Shadow Fall videos, at least until the new maps are released, doesn't mean that I will discontinue playing the game. I play Killzone Shadow Fall like every day. In other words, every day that I don't have to work, I play Killzone. And a lot of people on my friends list will know that. So, you know, if you guys are on my friends list, you guys want to go ahead, team up like I so often do, go ahead, send me an invite, or just, you know, click and join my game. I would definitely keep playing the game. I just won't really be uploading any more videos and commentaries because I think I pretty much covered everything. You know, I kind of talked about the importance of team play. I put forth demonstrations. You know, I talked about certain abilities, talked about scout class in particular, talked about a lot of things. Talked about how your equipment can contribute to a better gaming experience. We've also talked about how seeing that your equipment can really have an impact on your gaming experience. You know, we also talked about, you know, how legitimate really is your KDR, right? Because like I said in that one video that we discussed in the past, at the end of the day, right, whether you're wired, whether you play with a wired or wireless connection, whether you have a gaming TV or not, no matter what you have, at the end of the day, your reflexes as far as seeing something on screen and, you know, reacting to that on your controller, it's all going to be based upon what you see. So in other words, even if you have a wireless connection and a television with a lot of input lag, at the end of the day, as soon as you see it, it's going to be a response, right? So, you know, so in other words, a person with, let's just say, a 2.0 KDR versus a 1.0 KDR is not necessarily better, you know, right? They're not necessarily better at aiming, nor are they necessarily better at their reaction. Because, like I said before, I played, I'll say up until about a month ago, wireless connection. And granted, I had a slower internet speed, but, you know, according to what I've heard, switching from a wireless to a wired connection can really make a difference. So I did that for like the first, 3-4 months that this game was out. Well, actually 3 months, because this is February. So for the first 3 months, I played wireless. And ever since I switched to a wired connection, my KDR has been consistently going up. Now, granted, is it moving up slow? Well, of course it's moving up slow, right? Because I have like a total, I think I'm somewhere around 36,000 kills that I have, you know, counting back from when the game was released to now. I think I have like a total of 36,000 kills. And with those 36,000 kills, just think about how many kills above my deaths will I have to get, you know, 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, and then a full, you know, and on and on and on until I finally get a full point. So although it is a slow process because I have so many kills, I can definitely, because like I said before, for the longest I was like at an even 1.0 kill death ratio. Now I'm like 1.08, 1.08. Why am I saying dot? 1.08. So it's steadily climbing. And like I said before, I don't want you guys to think that just because I'm saying something about my KDR that I'm placing importance on it. The reason why I am talking about it as it relates to a wired versus a wireless connection is because that's the only way that I have to measure, right? Like in other words, if there was no KDR, there would be no other way for me to measure like before and after. In other words, if I was consistently a 1.0 for like 3 months straight, and all of a sudden after a change that I make is consistently going up week after week, well, it's gotta be the transition from a wireless to a wired connection. It's gotta be that, because no other factors have changed. I still play the same. My reaction time is the same. Since then, I've definitely switched my sensitivity settings, but I don't think that can account for a difference in KDR. Right? So, I mean, we've talked about a lot of things. So up to this point, like I said before, I think I'm just going to go ahead and take a break from uploading videos and commentaries on this game, and at least until the new maps are released, and then I'll be back at it full force. Now let's also talk about kind of sensitivity settings. So, when I first got Killzone Shadow Fall, I basically kept it at the standard sensitivity settings for a little bit. And I believe the standard sensitivity settings are like at 50-50, right? 50 x-axis, 50 y-axis. And, when I first got the game, I started out at 50-50, and I said, you know what, this is kind of dragging a little bit. Let me just go ahead and go straight to 100-100. And I don't know if you guys are used to 100-100, but if you switch from 50-50 to 100-100, like when you're trying to aim, like that reticle is just going to be whizzing back and forth all over the screen. So I figured to myself, I said, you know what, let me just go ahead and take the time to get myself adjusted to the 100-100. So, I was like at 50-50, for a couple weeks. Then after that, I switched to 60-60 for about another week. And I think I just end up going up in increments of a week. Well, actually, let me take that back, because I played 60-60 for a long time. And then I just got to the point, I said, you know what? I'm getting so tired of these guys with these freaking speed boosts, who, because they have that speed boost on, if your sensitivity is not really high, sometimes it's kind of hard to catch up with them. So I really got to take, because, a lot of these pro guys, they'll get assault class with their little Kaisers or their little Rumblers, and they'll just be whipping past you like so fast you can't even catch up with them. So I said, you know what, let me just go ahead and switch these sensitivities. And one thing I have noticed, now that I have switched and actually, even though I'm saying now that I have, is not to suggest that I just did it, right? I've kind of been on 100 for, I don't know, a couple weeks now. But I can definitely tell a difference. A major difference comparing the 100 to 50-50. Now, I'm not saying that, just because I'm at 100 now, I'm just straight crazy with the aiming and all that. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, I can definitely tell the difference when those guys are whizzing past me. It's not that difficult in most cases to catch up with them. And I think that's a good thing. So for a lot of you guys, maybe, you're just starting out. Maybe you didn't mess around with your sensitivity settings. Perhaps you want to get a little faster with, turning corners or pivoting behind you. Maybe someone is shooting you. You want to hurry up and whiz behind you. Hey, just do like I did. I'm not suggesting that you just go sink or swim mode. You just going from 50-50 and just going straight to 100-100, because that's a huge difference. But, just maybe go in iterations of a week. Start off at 50-50 or whatever your current setting is. Do it for a week. After a week, go up 10. Right? Go up in increments of 10 to both your X and Y axis. After another week, you're getting comfortable with that, or, and actually when I'm saying a week, I'm assuming that you play at least sometime every day. Now, when I say sometime every day, I'm not saying that 8 hours a day, but if I'll say, maybe if you dedicate maybe 1, maybe 2 hours a day, I think a week is good. All right, good enough for you to get comfortable with it. So, just go ahead, start at your settings, that whatever you are now. After about a week, switch it up. Increase it in increments of 10 and all the way till you get to 100. And hopefully you'll be able to tell the difference, like I've been able to tell the difference whenever you have guys just kind of running past you, and your ability to catch up with them a little faster as far as your aiming is concerned. So yeah, it's been a good journey. I really like this game. Now, speaking of first-person shooters, so Titanfall has been out, right? And I've been checking out BG's stream. Shout out to Broken Games HD. And I've been checking out the live streams on Twitch. And, I do agree that you shouldn't necessarily knock something before you try it. I understand that. But at the end of the day, does the game look exciting? It looks cool. I've seen a lot of videos on that game. The game looks really good. The graphics look good. The whole idea of having these bots, and when I say bots, I'm not talking about the actual bots. I'm talking about like them big robots, mechs, titans, whatever. I think titans is the correct name. You know, having a titan, the whole idea is cool. The thing that really turns me off is the fact that is, number one, 6v6. That kind of turns me off. And number two, that you're playing with like bots. Like, that really turns me off. And even though I haven't played it and I haven't really had an opportunity to ask someone, like, I wonder, do the killing of bots get factored into your stats? Like, in other words, does the killing of a bot hold the same weight statistically as would the killing of a human player? And if it does, like, that's misleading and it would suck. So, I mean, I don't know. Now, to my understanding, Titanfall is going to be also on Xbox 360, for which I have one. I'm not buying an Xbox One, flat out. Right? I'm just simply not interested in buying a console that I can talk to. You know, in other words, I could just turn on my own TV. I've been doing it for years. I'm fine with it. I don't need to speak into my Xbox One just to get the television on. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. So no, I'm not getting the Xbox One, but I do have an Xbox 360. So I don't know. I might get it. Like I said before, it's just really not appealing to me. And speaking of first-person shooters, there's another game that I was actually extremely interested in until I found out that it didn't even offer a multiplayer. And that's the new Wolfenstein game. Wolfenstein: The New Order. It should be out sometime this year. You know, I looked at a lot of the videos, some of the interviews. I even went on the website, and the game actually looks pretty cool. But who in the world plays first-person shooters just for the story? Like, I don't. Right? Like, in other words, if I'm going to get a first-person shooter, then it's all about the multiplayer. Like, who really cares about the story? Now, I understand that, you know, a lot of time when you read reviews, they're all talking, case in point, Killzone Shadow Fall. You know, a lot of people are all ragging on, oh, the single player sucks. You know, yeah, it's a pretty looking game, but, you know, the story is kind of boring. First off, who plays, like, seriously, this is like a serious question. Who really plays first-person shooter games for the single-player experience? Now, the way I see it, you might play the single player if you're kind of new to the franchise and you kind of want to get a feel of the game. You want to get a feel of, you know, how the guns work, you know, how you're able to maneuver. You might want to get a feel for that. But other than that, like, who cares about the story? Right? And you know, I guess that just really separates me from, you know, what you might call a more casual player versus a more dedicated player. Like, in other words, you know, to be able to play both the single player and the multiplayer, I guess that makes you more dedicated. Well, I mean, if that's how you deem it, I'm definitely not dedicated, because I am not playing a first-person shooter game for the story. Like, I couldn't care less about the story. But, you know, everyone has their own preferences. You know, they just kind of want to go back into the history. Now, Killzone 2 actually had a great story. And I think the single-player mode to that game was awesome. Killzone 3, you know, because I was still excited about Killzone 2, you know, I played the single-player. Was it all that? It was cool, but it just didn't give me the same feeling that I had when I played Killzone 2's single player, or even Battlefield Bad Company 2 single player. Actually, Battlefield Bad Company 2 had a good story in my personal opinion. It was fun. I really enjoyed myself in it. Oh, hey, looks like I'm running out of things to talk about. Actually, I've never run out of things to talk about. But it looks like it's the end of the video. So like I said before, this will be my last, at least until the new maps are released. So I hope you guys enjoyed these 30 plus videos that I've uploaded up to this point. And hey, until next time, Martyrs Brigade is